Modern Real Estate Practice, page 61. Taking. The concept of the taking of property for public use is found in the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which reads, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation, meaning that when land is taken for public use through the government's power of eminent domain, the owner must be compensated fairly. The rights of the owner of the property also are to be protected by due process of law, as set out in the 5th and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Ideally, the public agency and the owner of the property in question agree on compensation through direct negotiation, and the government purchases the property for a price considered fair by the owner. In some cases, the owner may simply dedicate the property to the government as a site for a school, park, or another beneficial use. If the owner's consent cannot be obtained, the government agency can initiate condemnation proceedings to acquire the property on payment of just compensation to the owner. In the past, the proposed use for taking property was to be for the public good. However, in June 2005, the U.S. Supreme Court in Kelo versus City of New London significantly changed the definition of public use. The court held that local government can condemn homes and businesses for economic development purposes, even when a private developer is a beneficiary. In Kelo, the city invoked a state statute that authorized the use of eminent domain to promote economic development. The Supreme Court decision leaves it to the states to establish rules that cities must follow when exercising eminent domain powers. Kelo caused an uproar when it was decided, and in response, many state legislators acted to impose a narrower definition of public use in eminent domain proceedings to ensure that property would be taken only for public purposes, as more commonly understood: roads, bridges, schools, municipal facilities, and so on, and not for commercial endeavors. Inverse condemnation is an action brought by a property owner seeking just compensation for land adjacent to land used for a public purpose when the property's use and value have been diminished. For example, property along a newly constructed highway that could not have been anticipated by nearby property owners may be considered inversely condemned. While the property itself was not used in constructing the highway, the property value may be significantly diminished due to the construction of the highway close to the property. The property owner may bring in an inverse condemnation action to be compensated for the loss in value. It is sometimes very difficult to determine what level of compensation is fair in particular situation. The compensation may be negotiated between the owner and the government, or the owner may seek a court judgment setting the amount after presentation of evidence of value. In practice, one method used to determine just compensation is the before and after method. This method is used primarily where a portion of an owner's property is seized for public use. The value of the owner's remaining property after the taking is subtracted from the value of the whole parcel before the taking. The result is the total amount of compensation due to the owner. Articles on eminent domain, as well as information on current cases, can be found by going to the website of the National Association of Realtors, www.realtor.org, and entering eminent domain in the search engine at the top of the page.